So here's the deal. For every single one of us sitting here, whether you've responded to Jesus' call to accept him or not, we often experience him in different ways. For some of us, it's radical, it's life-changing, it's instant, and we experience God's way in such a powerful manner that is transforming, and there's just no ways we can ignore it. For others of us, I guess we just sense that becoming a Christian and accepting Jesus into our life, that's just the right decision. That's the right decision for us. But regardless of how your experience has been, or may end up being if you haven't done that yet, the question facing each and every single one of us tonight is, how do you go from going to this one-time experience, I'm going to be a Christian, to growing in a relationship with Christ where we experience God's abundance and transforming power daily? How do we move from a single decision into life-transforming relationship with Jesus? And I believe, this is where we're heading tonight, I believe that in Romans 12 verses 1 to 2, Paul begins to unpack and answer this question. And that's what I want to do tonight. So let's have a quick drink and we're going to get into God's Word. Here we go. So in the book of Romans, Paul says this. He says, "Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the passion of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." As we break this text down, there's three things I want you to note from verse 1. And this sounds a little bit educational, but you've got to really think through this to lock in. The very first thing is Paul's writing, and he addresses his letter to Christians. He addresses it to people like us. Second thing, he says that we get to know God in the first instance, not because of anything we've done, but because he sent his son Jesus first. The very third thing that comes out of verse 1 is that the way each and every single one of us is supposed to live our lives is as worship to Christ. That means that all the things we do is supposed to be pleasing to God. Then Paul goes on into verse 2 and he hits us with this warning. Everything changes with this. He says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world." Do not conform to the pattern of this world. I don't know about you guys, but I think about passions sometimes. I'm going into my 4th year of teaching, right? And I've taught some classes a couple of times over. And as I head into my 4th year of teaching, I've become to realize that some things are the same year in and year out. And one of the things I like to do as a teacher is I like to actually come along and I like to look at people and go, right, what is that person's life going to be like in 1 year's time, 2 years' time, 4 years' time, 10 years' time? And I'd love to say that as I look at each and every single one of you as you walk past me, that I do this and it's like, wow, that person's got such an awesome life. But what I do every single time is I ask myself this question: what is that person's life going to look like if they don't know God? What is that person's life going to look like if they don't know God? Now, I know that this is just a real broad brushstroke generalization, but let's paint this picture. So for a typical girl in year 8, this is what life looks like. You're year 8, so you study hard because that's what year 8 girls do. You're year 8, and honestly, year 8 girls study hard. They're great. I love teaching my year 8 girls. Anyway, year 8, so you develop a crush on a few different guys, but here's the deal. Year 8 boys, they're stupid. They got absolutely no idea that you're supposed to like it. Year 8 boys, they run around going, check out my legs, and I go, man, they look kind of like my wife. She's got no hair on them or something like that. That's year 8 boys for you. But then this is what happens. The year 8 girls begin to develop and they start to realize that they like some things about their bodies, and so they start to dress to extenuate them, to make sure that people notice certain things. They also realize things about their body that they don't like, so they cover it up with makeup. Skip a few years on and all of a sudden they get involved in something social, whether it's a sports team, a drama club, a band, a culture group. That's not the point. They get involved in something and then they get their very first job, money in the back pocket. At the same time, they end up in their first steady relationship with their boyfriend. A few months later, the relationship breaks down and they break up. But not before our girl has experienced both the joys and the pain of a physical relationship. Okay, I thought there was pain in there, but whatever. By 24, she has slept with her last 4 boyfriends and she's currently dating another guy. She likes to go out and have a good time with her friends. She knows she wants to get married, but she doesn't know if she wants to marry her boyfriend. She knows she wants to have children, but she's not sure if the guy that she's with is the right one to have. It's definitely not the right time. She knows she wants to travel around the world, but she's also got a job and she doesn't want to leave it. She's just starting to do well in it. That is a major generalization. That's a major stereotype for you guys. And I know that some of you are probably sitting there going, oh, that's not too bad. I get to belong to a social club, I get to have a few boys, and get to dress provocatively and whatever. That sounds like a good life. But honestly, when I look at someone, and when I fast forward their life and it ends up looking like that, it really does break my heart. Because there's a total lack of purpose, a total lack of direction, and a total lack of integrity that comes from being in a relationship with God. You know, in the book of Galatians, in verses 16 to 18 in chapter 5, Paul begins by talking to the Christians and saying, I want you to live by God's Spirit. I want you to live the way God calls you to. And then he says, do not live in the patterns of your flesh. And he describes the patterns of our flesh, our bodily desires like this. He says, the acts of the flesh are obvious. They sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, adultery, and witchcraft. They hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfishness, they dissension, fractions, they envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those that live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. Sounds like a crazy list, doesn't it? Sexual immorality, hatred, jealousy, anger, selfish ambition, drunkenness. These are all patterns present in our world. I mean, just look, for example, a few weeks ago in Russia. A suicide bomber, so filled with hatred, rocks up to an airport and just blows himself up because he's got no idea of what else to do with his life. Or look at some family situations where you have father and son and they fight. The father jealous of the son's youthfulness and the son just angry because the father's so bossy and controlling and has power and authority of the family. Alternatively, look at the different relationships depicted on TV or between our friends, of young and old people, and the twisted sexual interactions that they get into, all because they're after what they think is going to be fun. I don't know about you guys, but maybe like Mr. Harris or Nick, whatever you call me, you're a little bit extreme here. I will not like this at all. I know the girls at the front down here, they don't think that what I'm saying is relevant at all. But I guess I want you guys to look at it this way. Look at your conflicts. What are they like? I mean, every single time you're angry, are you always righteously angry? Are you always angry because something has been wronged against you and you want to protect other people? Or is it that underneath your anger, really, at the heart of it, you're jealous about something, or you're spiteful about something, or you're proud about something, and something like that has caused your angst, your anger? I know for myself, I can't run around saying every single time something goes wrong, it's not my fault. You know, when I turned 18, I was hanging out with a group of friends, and just to really paint this picture really clearly for you guys, there was an incident where the passions of the world and my desires sort of came all together and nearly trapped me in a really bad way. So this is basically what happened. I'm 18 years old, and I was out at a party with a group of my friends, when my next door neighbour, or the girl that lived across the park, her name was Jodine, she had been out with us all, and she had mixed some drugs with some alcohol, and because we were really close, she came up to me and she's like, man, I am messed up. And so I stood there with my arms around her, supporting her and holding her in my arms, and we're talking, we're like, okay,